Unsigned518. I'm here with another weed episode, and I have with me one of my favorites in the cannabis industry, Sammie Sativa. How's it going?
It's going, Andy. I'm having too much fun here in the Dazzle Den, looking all around.
And you've been on the show a couple of times, right?
Once before.
Was it just once?
Once.
Well, maybe it just felt like multiple times,
So
but
second is the
at least
best.
once. Yeah, but this is definitely your first time here in the old Dazzle Den, which is so named because I think the word man cave kind of sucks. Like, it implies that like dudes need a place to like go be like sexist jerks or whatever. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I need a non-dude name.
This definitely is a Dazzle Den.
Yeah, Dazzle Den.
It's a dude Dazzle Den.
Yeah, I guess.
You're
I guess
a dude.
it. I am a dude, but you know, the village. I do have the village people here.
Well, I mean, you can't get any manlier than that.
That's right. That is pretty fucking manly. But so we're not here to talk about my village people poster on
Madonna's
the ceiling.
in here.
Oh yeah, Madonna, my Madonna
Yes,
poster.
She's the
Which is again an OG. That's a 1986 insert from the True Blue album on the water heater.
I love it.
Because you got to remember it is a garage. But yeah,
She's the
so
Mother Goose of
we
the
want to
Dazzle Den.
talk about weed, obviously, and we have talked about weed before. We've talked about certain. We were talking about certain brands, and we were promoting a store, and we were doing. But this is going to be more of a relaxed conversation just about weed in general. And one interesting thing that we were just talking about as we're smoking a joint, getting ready to record, is what you refer to as legacy weed, which is kind of like what would be a microbrew compared to like a Budweiser, something like. So like there's so many levels within the cannabis industry that there is like a big cannabis, quote unquote, and then more ma and pa cannabis. So like, what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. And just to talk about weed, I love weed. Even before weed, there's always been weed before the industry. So that's what I want. That's what I like. That's what's really tasty to me. So you can go to any grocery store, but would you rather go with a co-op? Would you rather go with a food stand? Why in the spring right now is everybody growing their own vegetables?
Right.
So.
And like you almost feel like, or I almost feel like my perception, and I'm like old, I'm in my 50s. So like I remember, getting weed was a thing for a while. But like when dispensaries came about, it was just like assumed that it was going to be the best weed available.
Absolutely.
Like, that was my assumption. I did not question it at all. And it wasn't until I started going to a bunch of dispensaries and started getting more familiar with them that I was like, I'm not fucking impressed with some of it.
I don't like this. It's a little expensive, and I'm not getting high.
Right.
So I find the convenience of dispensaries and legalization movements so that things are easier for people to get is an absolutely beautiful thing.
Yes. And the research that they're
yes and no.
to do. No? Well, we need to talk about that as well.
Yeah, maybe not on the legal side. Save your seeds. Grow your own weed. But a lot of people that come into dispensaries, especially the younger generation, since we're both so old, is people that never did that. They never sat in a parking lot. They never got ripped off.
Right.
So they're just going and they're like, this is great. They don't know anything else to compare it to. I remember I'd get $10 a weed and I'd be high for 5 hours. And I'm like, well, was that just because I was a little baby or...
No, because like even when I was young, like I remember, this is like early to mid 90s. Like I grew up, in Vermont. Beautiful. Not far from here, like an hour and a half from here or whatever. But like there was like this shift in the mid 90s where we went from getting shitty weed that you had to like fucking sift the seeds out of. You'd have a magazine on an angle and like try to get the seeds to roll away. And then we started getting what we called kind bud, like all of a sudden we're like, what is this stuff? It was like weed,
brick
but
weed and then haze.
Yeah. And as like I got older, like I like felt like a connoisseur, you know what I mean? And even I had just like the fucking wool pulled over my eyes, like where I was like, it took me a while to be like, it's not good. Some of it isn't good. Some of it's great. I've had some of the best weed I've ever smoked has come from a dispensary, but also some of the most unimpressive.
I absolutely agree. There's a lot of people out there that are doing it right, and they always say time tells.
Right.
We'll see that, but just like food, to compare it to food back there. What was I thinking?
Just like a comparison of the legacy to the big cannabis.
Yes,
thing.
that's where we were. So
Yeah.
I'm getting too high off of my platinum that you
well, like I was
stores.
telling you when I did a podcast with Kiki, I got so high doing one of our weed episodes that I couldn't remember her fucking name. Like, so yeah.
But so a lot of the cannabis that you get in dispensaries and everything, a big thing of it is MSOs, meaning it's multi-state operations. We all know about food, Monsanto, things like that. So you have people just mass growing cannabis indoors as fast as possible, as quick as possible, as potent as possible. Are they putting chemicals in it? I don't know. I'm just Sammie Sativa. But they're filling these shelves. There's not enough processing, at least in the state of New York, in my opinion, to fill up now over 600 legal licensed dispensaries.
And like the smaller company, you know, when you say like the states or whatever are, or the multi-state operation or whatever, are they doing it under like a fucking brand name, or are they?
Absolutely. So on every single New York State product now, there's a new thing called Metric Seed to Sale, which we all love within the industry. But any legal product that you do buy is going to have a QR code, some kind of scannable for you as the purchaser to scan, and you can see what's going on in that flower. My thing to you, I know everybody wants to learn how to sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Everybody wants to read their natal chart. Read your COAs on your weed. A lot of things that get passed, so terpenes, that's really kind of like what you like. What you're talking about, the old weed and everything, Andy, what you like, those are like high-end terps. And a taste, not so much about THC. There's some things that qualify as a terpene, that's wood or lavender. To me, that's not really like a hard terpene that you want in your flower.
And I've had some that are like fucking like savory, like it almost has like
pine and stuff. Absolutely.
It sounds weird, but it almost has like a beef bouillon, like taste to it.
Or
and it was really great weed,
gassy, garlicky.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was really great weed, but it didn't taste like traditional weed, and it had, like I said, it was almost like a beef bouillon taste.
So how any flower, how anything smells like anything, that's the terpenes in it. How pine smells like pine. But when it comes to cannabis, I want something stronger than that. I want some limonene, limonlu, mercerine, stuff like that. Real terpenes, not wood. So
what's like? Because those words that you just said, like you could be reciting a magic spell or something.
Yes,
I've never heard those words.
Those
before.
are that's what that pine is that you're talking about in that weed that you like.
Okay,
yeah.
So like those names that you mentioned, those are all like different kinds of.
Absolutely, different profiles of terpenes. So that's a big thing. You want to learn your terpene profile, what you like.
And they don't necessarily correlate to THC. Like you could have a really tasty fucking citrusy weed that doesn't get you high, or a bland tasting weed that gets you blasted.
Absolutely. Okay. Either way. Yes. I go to Maine a lot. I'm a medical patient. When I go in, I'm like, what are you smoking? Tell me what's tasty. I want these terps. And the bud tender will tell me this has 2% terps. This has 4% terps off of it. Where to you, I understand it's like, what is she talking about right now?
Yeah, but I'm trying to learn. Like I'm trying to learn more.
That's what you want. And then I look at the packages. Anything that I really smoke, quote unquote, on those COAs in other states and everything, 23%, 20%, nothing higher than that.
Okay.
And a lot of that, I say it's fugazi, it's fugazi, it's all.
So, like, again, I'm someone who when dispensaries first were a thing, and like I was going to them like fairly regularly, and I was driving out to Massachusetts,
Yeah.
and actually the first one was out in Massachusetts that I went to, and like I just looked at THC percentages.
As
and
you
got
should.
got the highest one that I could.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how I mean, is that like
That's
a smart way
that's
to?
how not necessarily, but that's how we're programmed to buy everything.
Right, right.
This is better because it has this symbol on it. This is better because it costs more money.
So what does the THC percentage actually mean? If there's like a sweet spot, you know what I mean?
If there's
a
a
nice
sweet spot and everything, I would say 18 to 20%.
All right.
Yeah. How everything right now says 30 and 40%.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying.
We'll
the one
see
I was
what
getting
happens
was
in
like
a few years.
29% or whatever. But like, is that kind of like?
Smoke and mirrors.
Is it? I mean, could too high of a THC be the one that give you like the fucking put you to sleep?
So I love hash. A hash hole. Really roll it myself. If I buy a hash hole from a dispensary, is it hash? Why is it tested? Who cares? What is it? Real Afghan hash. I would say test for 90% THC.
Right.
But when I'm buying it out of a mason jar, when I've always bought it, when you bought that great weed, were you saying, hold up, I want a sativa or indica? Is this high THC? No. You said, well, I have $100. Which one? Can I get the one that smells better?
Yeah. Or in
know?
my case, out in Vermont, we basically
You
can
got
I get
what you
the
got.
one that you have?
You still have that same one?
Yeah.
Or does your cousin have it, or your brother?
Yeah, that's how it always was. It was funny because it was when I was working at a ski area, and it was one of the like ski instructors that was hooking us up with like the really nice weed that we hadn't seen before. And I remember like scurrying it back to like my friends, being like, "Yo, look at this!" and like, yeah, and everybody be like, "What the fuck is that?" Yeah.
But just going back to the MSOs and everything. Not to be too hippy dippy, but that's what weed is, and we love weed.
Right.
That's where it comes from. It's a female plant, and any kind of plant, if you take care of it better, it's going to produce better. What's interesting about weed, what you want out of weed, you actually want to make her very angry. So when those buds, like what we love to smoke and everything, that is that plant producing it because it just wants to be seen more. It wants to be fertilized. And if you don't know that, or everybody knows that, even if they're growing it industrial, but just doing it, you're not getting what you could get out of it.
Right.
So these micro growers, these legacy growers, people that are growing 2 plants in their house, however, it's just. That's the real medicine. That's the real weed.
And I mean,
that's
it's like the same as like even if you looked at like a food, like you were saying, a food industry. Like if you've got industrial fucking corn that is like acres and acres and acres of this bullshit that is just whatever, or we've got someone who has a half-acre plot with like corn that he like
you're going
that
there.
they really take care of. That's going to be better.
And then you actually know where that money's going to.
Right.
I always, even with everything, I like to say when I spend my money, I'm voting.
Yeah.
That's how I vote. I vote with my dollars. So I'd rather give them to Andy, who's selling weed and, tomatoes out of his house.
Right.
He's not.
I mean, not anymore. So, legacy growers, and is there a lot of them, because the big buzz, but like the big buzz was that like a lot of people that have been growing and selling were like the first in line to be able to open dispensaries. And I feel like there's got to be at least a fair amount of them that were hesitant to throw their hat into that, like
absolutely. Why would you trust now all of a sudden? You put cuffs around me and now it's like, oh, let's be friends now and make money on this plant. Like what? That's my personal vendetta against all of that.
No, I mean that's kind of where I was going. It's
Yeah.
like how it was like literally like one like they were like, "Oh, we're sorry that we put you in jail. Would you like to sell weed for us?" Like it just seems.
And
so
even that
up.
kind of with the rose-colored glasses, you as a customer going into, wow, dispensaries are open. This is great. A lot of people, many people that I have gotten very close with, it's like, how could you not? You know what? This. They're making it up for me.
Right.
They're legalizing it, so why won't I jump in this puddle? And they jumped, and now there's over 600 legal dispensaries in the state of just New York. The city, it is very disgusting. So many of my friends, they will have a dispensary in 2 spots over. There's another one. How can they make money? And we're all selling the same product. We're at the hands of the processors, hands of these brands.
And how it like, one person it's like, ooh, you're a drug dealer. And then the other person it's like, oh, everything's cool because we said, it was cool. And it's like, it's been the same fucking product the whole time.
Absolutely.
There's no reason that I should have been waiting in fucking parking lots for 2 hours for something.
And it's odd how people treat you. I think everybody thinks this cannabis is just a get rich quick scheme.
Right.
And it's not.
It's a tough business because I've already seen dispensaries struggling.
Yeah. Ice Cube had dispensaries down in New Jersey, and he had put into almost $1 billion, and he's like, I can't. And
wow,
that's really not off from many people in this state.
Oh wait, yeah. Actually, I want to go back to like the MSO, like how if they're under a brand. Is it all under one brand, or is it like one of those things where it's like, General Mills has, this brand and that brand, which has this brand underneath them, which has...
Kind of like that, Andy. I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, all right. I don't want to get you in trouble.
But something kind of like that. Do your own research. Scan your COAs. See kind of where things are coming from, and you'll see. As a customer, I'm not going to say these names. I say I want to make T-shirts with all our processors and like fuck this, and everybody's like everybody in the cannabis industry is like, I'll buy that shirt. I'll buy it. You'll see where everything's coming from.
So you can trace everything back how far? Like
forever. So now with New York State seed to sale, as soon as that seed is put into the ground in any farm anywhere in New York State where it's legally grown, when it's sold to you in a dispensary, once you scan it, it traces back. So say for some reason you smoked and your whole body, we're smoking this, and you get a rash all over, and there's no difference. You go and it's like, well, maybe it was the cannabis, or you have some kind of reaction, or you open it and it's wet. You open it and there's mold in it. I've heard of that, because if you're not taking the time to cure it and dry it because you just want to make money.
Right. Time is money.
And a lot of people sadly don't know what they're smoking. And they think just because it's coming from a dispensary that it's to be trusted. And just because it's in a cute little label in a jar doesn't always mean it's better.
So you should scan it basically every time. And
scan it. Ask your friends. Ask your bud tenders. I'm a fibber. I don't say lie, but... I tell my friends, if you go to a dispensary, say that you're a bud tender out of state. Be like, hey, I don't know any of these brands. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm from Vermont. I'm from wherever. I just moved here. That's why my license is New York. But ask them. Be like, what should I smoke?
Right. Yeah, because like I said, I've put a lot of faith into dispensaries when they first came out, and not again, this is not me shitting on dispensaries, because there's a lot of them around that I fully fucking trust, that I've met the owners, that I've talked to employees, and that I trust. But there's also some that I won't touch because I'm like, in
a way, like a co-op, like at the end, dispensaries are really just the end of that road,
right?
The end of everything. So as long as you have a good educated bud tender, which I think there needs to be more of those out there.
And do you think it's just somebody that's just trying to cut corn? Some of these that aren't carrying really great brands, are they like just trying to cut corners and being like...
No, they're just trying to survive. Just like back to Ice Cube.
Cube or T or whatever.
One of the cubes. It's a fight. So you can't just... Some people might be able to survive with just what they would want to smoke on their menus, but not all.
I want to like to talk a little bit about some product, but I need like a second to like figure some shit out. So we should listen to a song. I'm gonna put some music on, and we'll take a second then, because you brought some things. And I want to. I have some questions about things. So let's listen to a song. Let's listen to. I was thinking of a weed song. Probably the best one would be a Sugarhold song. Let's listen to "Salad" from Sugarhold. It's about mixing different kinds of weed.
I like it.
Yeah. So we'll listen to that, and then we'll be right back.
A fruit salad.
Yeah.
Let's mix a salad up. each other. Sativa, let's mix a salad up. We both have Sativa, let's mix a salad up. Here we are with nothing to do, nothing left to figure out. Share with me and I'll share with you, and we could help each other out.
I was laughing after
Sativa.
All right, so that was Sugarhold. It's funny is I just thought of playing a song right on the spot. I didn't even ask them if I could play it, but I'm sure they'll be fucking fine with it. they'll be cool with it. I want to talk about a couple of the products that you brought, and then maybe talk about like the different kinds of THC and kind of what to look for depending on what you want. These are, you gave me some pearls. What is that? Grown? Is that the?
Grown.
Grown.
Grown, yes.
It's got the I know those are called the umlaut.
Yep. You
Yeah,
got it right. Yes.
Raspberry lemonade, sativa. And we were saying how it's only 100 milligrams per package is all that we can do in New York State.
For the rec side for right now, yes.
That'll be fun if it changes.
Yes.
So there's different kinds of THC, and like if you are uneducated or just simply have not really bothered to learn, like if you wanted to choose a THC to be sleepy, or if you wanted something to be more focused or more energized, there's like different THCs for that, correct?
We call them cannabinoids.
Okay.
So everybody has a cannabinoid system within their body. If you've ever heard of a runner's high, that's essentially your cannabinoid system treating you how it wants to. It's happy when you run and you feel good and you. I'm actually good. I'm running on about 40 mils right now.
All right.
Yeah, but cannabinoids are awesome. The other one that I gave you that I said is kind of like a anxiety medication, it's got CBC and CBG in it. So what those are going to do is like really chill you out. You've heard of CBD. Those are really going to like chill you. They're good for any kind of muscles. People use them for seizures. They trade all their kind of crazy medicines for the real medicine. It's awesome.
Huh. Almost like a plant-based Xanax.
Exactly. Yeah. And a lot of the brands, there's a new one out where, so anything on the rec side, it has to have some form of THC in it. So these new gummies, they have 6 milligrams CBD, 2 milligrams THC. So it is essentially, to me, like a Tylenol. It's really like a natural medicine gummy. You pop all these, you're not gonna. I was once working with a uneducated bud tender, and they took a whole bunch of these gummies, and she's like, I'm about to fall asleep. I'm like, girl, you're riding on 120 mils of CBD.
Right.
And she's like, huh?
And that's like what makes you sleepy. Like,
yeah,
if you're...
CBN is actually what makes you sleepy. CBN is like exactly. There's so much to this.
Never
Andy.
even heard of CBN.
We're gonna have to do a cannabinoid terpene little class.
I'm gonna take a third gummy here.
Pop them.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah.
So what? Are these just sativas? These are just THC.
Yeah, these are.
Yeah, these are just to get you blasted.
Yeah.
Some of them sometimes have THCV in there. What's cool about that is that's kind of like THC's best buddy. Just kind of enhances your high for a little bit longer. It can be an appetite suppressor. A lot of people take it before the gym. Can kind of, wake you up, get you a little feel like weed caffeine.
And is this something like if someone went into a dispensary with just like that basic knowledge that was like, hey, I want something with THCV in it, like typically a bud tender would be able to,
Absolutely. Even a lot of the product packaging makes it really easy for people, and it'll say it on the front of it. It'll say THCV. It'll give a little rundown of like the terpenes or the cannabinoids. My apologies. So, yeah, if you don't want to talk to anybody and just look.
Right. So if you have the basic that knowledge, you could even going through a menu. You could
go through a menu. A lot of them have it where you can sort that. You can maybe type it in, but you can only get products without THC. So just a straight CBD product with no form of THC in it. You can only get that at a medical or a recreational dispensary that has a hemp license, which some do, some don't.
Why
because it's all about money, in my opinion. Through New York State, it's just another license. It's just a separate license so that you can just have straight hemp derived products.
So kind of almost like a beer and wine license and then a liquor license.
A bit. As time goes on, if we'll see the people that have those hemp licenses, the recreational dispensaries will be able to sell clones, things like that first. I believe they can still legally sell seeds. OCM changes things
right, constantly.
Every single day. Yeah.
And how is the law like with, I know we're allowed to grow, but like what is the law like with clones? Like are clones legal to, are you gonna start
selling to recreational dispensaries? I believe they are, and everything, as long as you have your hemp license. Is it happening? Not so much. Last year there was all talk that the governor passed where, and quote me if I'm wrong because I may be, but that dispensaries could have basically grower showcases. So as long as they were the brands that they had in the store, if that specific farm wanted to come out and say, hey, we're going to do an educational, we're going to sell some clones to customers, they could do that. Then they changed it and they said the dispensary could do it. It just couldn't be on dispensary property, but it had to be on another business's property, which was a very gray area. But I do find that the people with micro licenses, and there are some dispensaries that are micros, are able to kind of have that little jump start. So it's just a game of chess. That's what this whole entire industry is. Nobody knows what they're doing.
Right. When you say micro license, like are there different licenses? Like can a dispensary open under a different license than another one? Like, or is there?
So a dispensary, say I have a dispensary and I'm just making no money. You could buy my dispensary. You could buy my license. You could buy Iced Tea's, license. But a micro can't. Just like if I have a dispensary and I'm making hand over fist money, I can't go and buy a micro right now. But if they change our laws, which is like a 2-tier, things like that, meaning that if we own dispensaries, we could also grow like Massachusetts. That could be a little scary. There's a lot of big sharks coming in right now. There's a lot of people. Nobody knows what they're doing. And even those big sharks with money, nobody knows what they're doing.
Right, but they all know that, because I think society has been exposed as everybody loves weed.
And everybody does. and the dispensaries aren't going anywhere. They are just going to keep coming, which I love dispensaries. It's awesome. It's so convenient.
I love the convenience.
Yes.
I love the convenience, and I love how it's the newer batch of dispensaries seem to be like getting rid of the shame aspect of buying weed. Like there's still some, and not to call anybody out, but it fucking bums me out when I have to walk into a place and I have to walk into this teeny little 6x6 room with somebody that lets me in. Like I like the the big, pretty, I like being like, wow, this makes me feel like I'm in a jewelry store, like almost,
I had some dispensaries are old jewelry stores. I had the talk with somebody recently. When I go places, I go to restaurants and I go to the dispensary. We all judge. We say we don't, we do. And
I say I'm not, I don't
and it's
mean
like,
to.
this one's cool. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was like a skate shop. This one's like a, doctor's office. So,
but I just don't like the ones like I don't like my thing is, and it's always been my thing with weed is I don't want there to be a stigma. I've never been one to hide my own use. Like I've never been a like, oh, let me sneak away so that nobody sees me do it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck who sees me doing it. Like, and that's always been my thing. And I want to see that lifted, like, the dispensaries to help lessen the stigma. And I just feel like some of the ones that kind of treat it with a touch of shame don't do a ton to lessen the stigma.
I know what you mean. I'm out here every day breaking the stigma. I would sometimes do deliveries, and a lot of times they were people that were housebound, elderly, and they were rock stars. They were so excited, showing off their bag. If it was like a community home, oh my goodness, like I couldn't leave in the lobby. Oh, this is my girl. This is my weed girl.
Right. Showing
it off. Where is if I'm selling it out of my car, are they going to be the same way? So,
yeah.
It comes in the cute packaging, and it's all, so it's fun.
It is fun. And like I said, I like the enthusiasm of bud tenders for the most part.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you're not going to like, or maybe you are, maybe they exist, but I've never caught a grumpy fucking bud tender. Like
you
not
shouldn't.
one time
it's
in my life.
It's the best job in the world.
Yeah. Like
you just press buttons like at fast food restaurant, and you're just high all
and
day.
you talk about weed.
Like,
weed. I'd love to be able to, like, that's like, my friends would be cutting me off in a circle, being like, oh, then this, and then, oh, terpenes. Did you know about THCV?
My favorite thing would be when a lot of customers would come in and say that they went to Woodstock.
Oh, wow.
And they would tell me their Woodstock stories, and they'd tell me their weed and their hash Woodstock story.
Yeah, I mean, Woodstock's 5 years before I was even born.
Yeah. And just
old school.
How everything has changed. They'd say, oh, I went on a plane, and I put this in places of my body where I don't have to anymore. But where maybe somebody next to me in line or another bud tender is like, what are you talking about? Because I've always just come here and bought my vape pens.
Yeah,
so.
And just think too, in like another like 10 years, 15, 20 years, like it's just going to be such a norm that it's going to almost be like how we would look at like prohibition, being like, oh, there was no alcohol allowed.
If we go federally legal, it'll be in Walmart.
Yeah.
It'll be in Target. Yeah.
And it should. I don't know if we would go federally legal. I don't know. I don't know.
I
don't have
in
a lot
of ways
in
don't want to.
government.
That's why I say stick with your micros,
Yeah.
see what you want to smoke, because I mean, if Target has a $10 eighth, is that the best?
No, it's probably gonna be
and I love that
garbage.
we laugh. I love that we laugh about these things, but what if in 5 years we're sitting here, Andy, and we're like, find the clip. Now we have the $10 eighth from Target, and it's shit, and we do a taste testing.
Right.
Like,
and I mean, it would be shit. It would be.
Yeah.
But it's probably coming.
Yeah, save your seeds. If you find seeds anywhere, legal weed, save it. That's a unicorn.
See, I've never grown anything from seed, like weed wise. I've grown like vegetables and shit like from seed, but
Same
I've never
way. Put it in a paper towel. Some people soak it.
But how
put
do
it in
you?
a
There's
pot.
no way to know if it's male or female until it hits a certain point, right?
Correct. And that's a whole. I have friends that are growers. I have a friend that actually breeds males because he does all cross things and makes seeds. I can't even tell you about all that, but it's beautiful. It's awesome. It's such a science and an art and so much of it.
Yeah, but I like to get the feminized clones because then I'm like, now
Andy wants an autoflower. Just make it easy.
Dude, I had a fucking.
okay.
I did not like autoflower. I did an autoflower last summer, and that thing. I mean, it grew really fast.
Some of them are bad.
But I got like fucking 2 blunts worth off one plant.
Working
Like
away.
I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like it was fast, but it was like 1.5 foot tall, and
Yeah.
like it was. By the time I hung it and dried it and cured it, it was literally like a 1/4 ounce. Like
Yes, that's what I know when it's harvest season and all my friends are like, "You want to come over for dinner?" I'm like, "No, I know what this entails, and I'm just gonna cut weed up for 5 hours."
Have you seen those? Like those salad spinner.
Yes, they're
things?
awesome.
They're
I have many friends
amazing.
that have. Yes, they're.
Yeah,
yes.
I helped a friend do their
Yeah.
crop last year, and I was doubting it. Like I was like, "There's no way
Yeah.
this is gonna be garbage. It's gonna trim it like it's gonna be a shitty trim."
Yeah.
I was like, "It's not gonna look good."
That's what basically the dispensaries use on a large scale.
Right,
Some, not
like
all,
a
but
big one. But
yeah.
I was amazed at how it was good, like
Yeah.
and quick, like fucking quick. We were just like,
yeah.
boom, salad, spinning some weed. It was fun. I have some of that weed in my cupboard over there. Yeah. So this plant-based Xanax.
Yeah.
What is it? I can't. Plant-based pills for relaxation. And what are these? These are just like I'm gonna.
So these have 5 milligrams THC and 25 milligrams CBD. So I fib. They have no CBC or CBG. That's what I want to give you. What do these have? Just THC. Oh, these have CBC and THCV. So you should
okay.
take those tonight. That'll help with any kind of anxiety and make you laugh and giggle.
Yeah, because I'm going to
Yeah.
see Aaron Harks do her comedy tonight for the
Yeah.
first time, and and you wouldn't think, but like I sometimes have a little social anxiety, like
Absolutely. Or just when you're around a lot of people, sometimes it's just like we're all human and
yeah, and I mean
makes you
it was funny because and like this is kind of bad, but like when I drank, I did not have that. You know
No.
what I mean? But that was also not a good thing. to
absolutely.
like,
And that's
know?
what we're taught. Have a shot, have a drink,
Yeah.
and then I can be myself because you're laying down your inhibitions. Or you could just take a little gummy, smoke a little joint,
Yeah.
hit something.
And I think even my pulling back in my like social skills, I think like since I stopped drinking and switched to just strictly cannabis, like my way is just to not get in social situations as much.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, I almost felt like bad, but now I'm like, no, I'm just like at that phase in my life that when I come out, it's an event, like
That's
rather than someone that's out all the time,
Because we're the week before 420, and there are so many
yeah.
events this week. This is Christmas and New Year's for anybody in the cannabis
Yeah.
industry, and I know so many people that are like, I don't think I'm going to that. I just want to be in my room with my pet smoking. And I'm like, dude, I know. I do the same thing, but it's
Yeah,
like one time.
I'll
go
come out for cannabis events.
Yeah, I'm like, come out for the kid. Like, break the stigma. This is what we need. We can finally smoke places.
Yeah.
Smoke in these hippy dippy places that, we were shunned from.
Yeah, that's what I like too, is being able to stand out on the sidewalk and smoke and not have to worry about it. And
Yes, it's just
lovely.
it's just relaxing. But yeah, they rent out a lot of places, local businesses for anybody in the industry or people that just, if you know, you know.
Right.
I'm hosting a puff and paint at 9 Pin on
nice.
420.
I love that.
And there's many dispensaries that'll be there. So,
Cool. Then you want to give more information about that? You want to talk about that a little bit?
oh, not so much.
No?
No. You got to find me, Sammie
All right.
Sativa, and
Yeah,
come
yeah.
to my events.
Well, perfect then. That's a great segue. We'll pretend we planned that. How do they find you, Sammie?
They can find me on Instagram at SammieXSativa. And if I ever have any personal events going on, and if I'm throwing them, you know how they're going. The links are just in my bio. So grab a ticket, come on by, come hang,
Awesome.
float away.
And before we go, we should talk because this is a Metroland podcast, and we have our first Metroland weed event, the Canna Cruise, and you're going to be there.
Of course. Any capital district, anything Canna related, Sammie Sativa's there.
I love that you messaged me and you're just like, you're going to be at the Canna Cruise?
Well, I
I'm
had
like,
to make
yeah,
sure.
You're
I
going to
said,
be at the Canna Cruise?
yeah,
Like,
I
fuck
mean,
yeah.
Andy's going to be there.
Yeah.
Either way, I was going to be there, Andy.
It's funny because I've lived in this area for 20 plus years and I've never been on a Dutch apple cruise.
You're going to have a blast.
Yeah. Like I've been on the Captain JP, the
Kinda-
Troy version.
Kind of the same style. This one's better.
Yeah.
I've actually hosted 2 prior cannabis events on this same one.
Oh wow.
Great people, great vibe. Just go up and down the water and finally we can be the places where it wouldn't be abnormal to drink up there.
Right.
But
yeah, and I guess like on the boat, anywhere that's not indoors, you can smoke.
correct.
You
Yeah.
can
So
smoke
up
weed.
top, and that's how a lot of these things go. It's like respect the space
Yeah,
wherever
yeah.
you're doing it at. But at the same time, anything else you can go in with a bar, have a drink or two, and then hop in your car.
Right.
What's wrong with this? We
Yeah,
might just
and it's
giggle a little more. Actually, we're probably gonna stop at
I was gonna
Wendy's
say,
on the way
Probably
home.
smoke a joint on the way home.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like a 2 hour thing, like what,
Yes.
6 o'clock or whatever, when we go out and we'll
It'll be awesome. I'm very
there's
excited.
A DJ and
Come find me. I'll have my Puffco. I'll
yeah, and
come smoke with me.
Come find me and smoke with me.
Yeah.
Because now that you brought me gifts, now I'll roll a bunch of joints. and-
Oh, forget this stuff. Forget this. This is for the Dazzle Den.
All right then. I'll just sidle up to Sammie right when I get there. I'll be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm hanging out with her.
I'll bring you another satchel full.
Nice. Awesome. Looking forward to it. So come see Sammie and I at the Canna Cruise. I'll put a link in the show notes on this episode so you can just click on it and get the tickets right through there. So Sammie, thank you so much. Once we wrap up here, I think we should probably smoke another one.
Absolutely.
Once we don't have to think about talking and stuff. But thank you again for your time. And is there anything you want to add before we wrap up here?
Not so much. Thank you, Andy, as always. I'm excited. We're going to be doing some more weed stuff soon. And stay high. Happy 420.
Unsigned518 is produced and hosted by me, Andy Scullin. New episodes are available every week wherever you stream podcasts. If you would like to help support the show, please like and subscribe wherever you are listening. Or you could buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/unsigned518. If you would like to advertise on the show, send me an email at unsigned518@gmail.com. And to be a guest on the show, reach out to me through Instagram at unsigned518. Take care of one another, and I'll see you next week.